Welcome, America. Welcome to Americans Vote. I'm Paul Raskowski. Well, let's talk. So the bomber, or the attempted bomber, let's say that he attempted to bomb. We don't know really if the bombs ever were designed to actually explode. They claim there was some explosive material in there, but it's yet to be seen if the bomb actually was functional. So all his targets were obviously Democrats. They were specific Democrats, people that were very involved in the destruction of Trump, President Trump. They were very involved in the DNC and the election of Hillary as well. Pretty much all the players that started this whole Marxist progressive movement. Well, that's not true. Woodrow Wilson actually started it. So it's been happening for a long time now, where the left keeps moving further and further to the left, to a progressive statist type of governance. So that's where we're at right now. It's really about the government and the midterms, the voting. So a lot of people speculated that this bomber was a false flag. There still is, evidence out there, and they're doing their research. There's Facebook pages that, he is definitely a Trump supporter. He has got some mental illness also. He doesn't sound like a very sane person if you look at some of his posts on social media. So I want to talk a little bit about what the media's been doing with this information that they have. Now that he is a Trump supporter, of course, what are they going to do with it? Yesterday, they were attacking Trump, blaming him for this, which is just absurd. Did anyone blame Bernie Sanders for the man that assassinated, killed, targeted Republicans at the softball game? The media barely covered that. Someone actually almost was murdered, and it was specifically targeted at Republicans. And we still don't know what happened in Vegas. I tend to believe that the shooter understood that most of those people were country music lovers, and most country music lovers are conservative. And they don't want half the country to not want to go to Vegas because conservatives were targeted. Conservatives have been the target for a great deal of time now. And that's where this deranged person, obviously a Trump supporter, but one deranged person doesn't mean everyone is like this. That's absolutely crazy. I mean, should we say every black person is a thief because one person does it? Or every gay person out there is a child molester because one time it happened when the individual was gay? How absurd is that? Is that how we should stereotype people or judge people? It is just crazy to me that the Democrats are preaching or, giving us a speech about civility. They were the ones that have been just attacking Trump 90% of the day. Everything. News is now attack Trump. That's why conservatives don't really mind when Trump is like fighting back. Sure, Trump is not Shakespeare, but he is just talking. Far as transparent, this president is the most transparent I've ever seen. And that's what we dig, right, Mr. Trump? Now, let's just get perspective here, okay? We need to get talking here, and that's what this channel is about. Americans vote. We are Americans. We're all Americans. This is the melting pot. We are people from all over this planet. And we are all from one place, right? Africa, Asia. You believe in Adam and Eve. Maybe Eve was like this beautiful Asian black Viking. And maybe Adam was like a Middle Eastern, Indian, Swedish guy. Who knows? Whether you believe in evolution or what. We all come from the same place, right? The oldest human beings were discovered in Africa and Asia right now. The Palean Indians came up the Bering Straits, which are the native Indians, right? The American Indians. So maybe we should give everything back to Asia and Africa, right? I know the left always likes to say, we took this land from the Native Americans, right? That's a way of the left, that's their brainwashing to get you to hate America. Because that's essentially what's happened. The Democrats are okay with their base stepping and burning the flag, rioting. And when one crazy person sends a message out, because I think it was a message, because I don't think he wanted anyone to die. He probably knows he's going to go to prison for a long time, but the guy has problems. He's more interested in being famous, it looks like. So, because he actually probably hurt the Republican Party. Maybe not. Maybe people will really see what the media and the left is about, the way they react, their hypocrisy. Maybe that's what the American people are going to see, because Americans are smart. We are a lot smarter than the media thinks we are, or the politicians. People are waking up and they're understanding that the media is trying to just brainwash us, right? Isn't that what is up here? They got their ideology and they're pushing their ways of life on us. This is how you should think. And everyone's going to politically pressure you. Politically correct, isn't that? What is that? Isn't that like on the neighborhood playground, right? Everybody pressures you into liking Susie, or going to ask Susie out, or playing dodgeball, or not playing dodgeball, or the order in which you're picked, right? Peer pressure. Remember that? Remember how we had to grow up? See, I have a theory out there. My theory is that that's the main problem that we have in this country, is nobody's creating adults. Now, there are adults out there. There are real public servants that we cherish, and soldiers and heroes that will give their life for our liberty. But and those are probably the only men and women out there, because when you become an adult, you believe in something greater than you. An adult usually is a parent, and they are raising children. And their job is to create adults. Isn't that the ultimate job? To create an adult? My daughter the other day asked me, Dad, you think I'm ready for sex education? And I didn't know that the school had even asked her. She's 12. She's in 7th grade. And I said, I would say high school. But the more I thought about it, it's whose business is it to teach them sex education? It should be the family. It shouldn't even be in schools. I can teach everybody the class. I can go to the class, and I would say this is probably the best way to teach sex education to anyone. Let's say at the age of, since they're doing it, let's just say 12 on, because I would say this to my daughter. You don't have intercourse until you are ready to be a parent. That's it. That's all they need to know. Maybe I would ask them also, if you had a dog that you loved and that dog was drowning, and there was a human being, but a stranger, you didn't know who that stranger was, but it was a human being, who would you save? Now, if they say a dog, there is a problem there. We got a few minutes here. Okay, gotta work on that. But let's get back to the sex education, and we'll call it a night. So, the reason they pick the dog is because that's something they love. Their dog. The feeling they have is because they love their dog. The dog will be gone, but will they be able to wake up or sleep knowing that they let a human being die? I don't think so. So, a human life is more important than an animal, a pet. What if there was a pet pig or a pet gerbil? Where does it stop? Because it's a dog everyone can relate to. We would choose a dog over a human being. No, a human being is more valuable. And that is a choice. See, values are choices. I can't take this credit for this philosophical question, but Dennis Prager talks about this all the time. Anyway, we better get going because that was my alarm. I got a short file on the camera here. Thank you for spending this time with me, and next time we'll talk about some more current events and what's happening. This is Americans Vote, and remember, if you complain, you better vote. If you don't vote, you can't or shouldn't complain. I'm Paul Ruskowski. Good night.